Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want us to talk a little bit about confidence, right? I'm not someone who has a vast amount of confidence, right? I'm often going through life trying to be a little bit invisible, and I think a lot of people do the same. A lot of people are trying to go through life not trying to cause any level of aggravation. They don't want to get in people's way. They don't want to draw attention to themselves because they don't want to be labeled an attention seeker. They don't want to be seen as someone who's a bit weird, right? But at the end of the day, we are all kind of weird deep down. We all have that kind of thing about us, that personality quirk that makes us interesting, right? And look, I often will be in a social situation and I won't say stuff that I really want to say, right? Not because it's offensive or because, I think that people are not going to like what I have to say. It's just that the anxiety's there, where not like, proper legal definition of anxiety, clinical anxiety or anything like that. It's just this little, I don't know what you're going to say about that. I'm a bit scared of what you have to say about that. And look, it's not good to do that, because at the end of the day, if you keep doing that, if you keep sitting there trying to stay invisible, you will become invisible, right? Because I know so many people who are so scared of expressing themselves in any kind of way, of doing something that's a little bit weird, of starting a conversation, right? And it's those people that manage to start conversations, it's those people that are not afraid to go up and do that thing. Those are the ones that get the furthest in life, right? And I've been trying to learn and coax myself into doing that more and more often, right? But it's scary to do that. I understand that it's scary to, do something that puts you out, to do something that's a little bit weird, right? And so many of us just coast through life not doing those things that are a little bit scary, that maybe we want to do deep down, but we're just a little bit too anxious and a bit too afraid to actually do. And we want to do them, but we just don't quite have the courage. And look, I try to practice what I preach. I try to actually express my true opinions. I try to express my true self on this channel, right? And I try to actually convey something, right? And oftentimes it's very difficult to do that. But do you know what's really scary? Is just expressing yourself in some way that might seem a little bit weird. Oftentimes you'll do something that seems a little bit mad, right? But the ideas that you might think a bit too much, they're probably just about right? The ideas that you think are just insane, they're the ones that really are the ones that work. So, I'm here in Westminster, and I'm going to see if I can get through this and not draw any attention to myself. And I'm getting laughed at already. So look, we can all do things that we might think that we can't, but I trust that you can do them. Let's go. Perfect. That's really good. So this is the House of Parliament. So there's someone in there at the moment who's passing a load of anti-trans kind of things. We recently redefined what a woman was so that, trans people can't access single-sex spaces and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of thought, right, well, I'm not a woman, but at the end of the day, gender identity is kind of fluid. I mean, is a woman the dress she wears, or is it the brain that's in her head, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I enjoy wearing dresses every now and then, but it's not like a key component of my life, right? But I feel like this is the first time I've ever been in public. And I was kind of nervous on the way here. I was just kind of thinking, I'm terrified of being weird. I'm terrified of being some kind of freak. But at the end of the day, no one around here gives a crap, right? No one's looking, right? Because they see a million freaks and weirdos every day of their life, right? This is London, right? You see so many strange and bizarre people all over the place. And at the end of the day, it's okay to express yourself in whatever way that might be. I mean, I'm not like in my absolute truest form right now, right? Because I'm not someone who does this to be feminine or anything like that. I just kind of do it the same way that, David Bowie or Iggy Pop like to wear dresses, as kind of a rebellious thing. It's like, who are you to tell me what I can and can't wear at the end of the day? And look, I'm sure that there'll be people in the comments that will go, oh, you're a freak, whatever, you're a sucking degenerate and all this sort of stuff. But you know what? If you let people like that get to you, then you will never do anything. And it's that fear of those people that's what's causing so much anxiety out there in the world, right? Like, if you go out there and you just own it, right, you'll get away with a lot, right? No one's really, I mean, people take an odd glance, but at the end of the day, no one really cares. They'll have forgotten about this by the time they get home. They'll probably have forgotten it by the end of this video. And I just like the fact that we live in a country where you can just kind of do something mad. You can do something kind of crazy. Like, this is probably the craziest thing that I've ever done. And it doesn't even feel that crazy right now. It's just something, right? And as time goes on, you gain more confidence. As you gain more confidence, something like this will feel like nothing, right? When I first started doing regular videos like this, where I just talk to the camera in one take, I was petrified. And now it's just a bog standard part of what I do, right? As you go through and you take risks, you gain skills. And as you gain skills, it starts to become easier for you. And as something becomes easier for you, it just becomes almost routine. I mean, now I can just do these sort of videos on a whim. Whereas before, they took so much preparation and psyching myself up. And now it's just kind of fine. And, there's so many people out there that are so scared to do something, to be their truest self or to express themselves in any way. And if you end up doing that, you start to lose sight of who it is that you actually are. Because are you the you that's in your brain, or are you the you that is perceived by other people? Right? There's different philosophies on this. If you subscribe to the one where it's you are who people see you as, then you need to be as confident in yourself as possible and as confident in who you are as possible. Because if not, then you are that person that people perceive, which if you don't do anything to extend that confidence out there, to do something a little bit mad, it doesn't have to be this, right? But it can be whatever you want to be. If you don't do something a little bit crazy, then you are that boring person that's too scared and afraid to actually express themselves or to say anything controversial or to start a conversation. I know a guy who, he grew up in a bit of a strange situation, but he basically needed to have confidence for his street smarts, right? He really needed his confidence. He really needed his confidence. And because of that, it meant that he was able to start conversations really, really easily, right? And I see him now. He's constantly talking to baristas and bartenders and just people in Tesco. He makes friends with everybody, right? And it's because he has this skill, right? And the reason he has it is because he's not afraid to show his real self. He's not afraid of the idea of people not liking him. Because if someone doesn't like you, then they don't like you. And no amount of weird things that you do is going to change that, right? As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're being a generally decent human being, you're going to keep all the good people around. And anyone who doesn't like this, right? If anyone wants to stop being friends with me because of this video, then they're not really worth my time to begin with. So it's almost good to do stuff that's a little bit mad and a little bit crazy, to extend that confidence out there, because it helps filter out negative people in your life. And if you can filter it down to all the best people, then you're doing something pretty good, because that means that you've got true, wonderful, like-minded friends around you, right? And that's key. You want to have friendly, decent people around you. And the way that you do that is you have the confidence to just do something a little bit off kilter, a little bit strange. Before I started this video, I was changing into this in a really dingy toilet. And I was shitting myself. Not literally, I mean, I did that before I changed. And I was scared. I almost thought maybe I shouldn't do this video. Maybe it's too much, right? And I've thought that before when I've done a video and I thought maybe it's too much, maybe I shouldn't upload it. Maybe this is too far. And every time I think something's too far, I look back on it and I think, actually, I could have gone even further. You can push the boundaries quite far. As long as you're not hurting anyone, you can get away with so much. And at the end of the day, it's just wonderful that you can gain this confidence because it's a skill that you can learn. You can learn how to do this, right? It doesn't have to literally be this right here, right? Basically, exhibitionism. It doesn't have to be this. It can be, just starting that conversation with the barista, asking them a question that you think, oh, they're not going to like that question. But at the end of the day, they probably do like that question. I mean, when I worked in cafes and Sainsbury's and stuff, I always liked when people came up to me and asked me a kind of a fun question. You know, the sort of thing like, when I was working in the pub, the football game would be on, and I would always ask people, what team should I support? And before I did it, I was really scared. I liked the idea of doing it, but I was always scared to ask it because I kind of thought, what if they don't like it? What if they don't want to talk to me, right? But at the end of the day, if they don't want to talk to me, then they'll stop talking. They won't respond properly. And that's fine, right? It's fine to have negative interactions. They're going to come around. And as you do this sort of thing, right, you'll get better and better at it. I'm still not great at it myself. I still sometimes find myself in a situation where I'm kind of like, I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to say something a little bit off kilter. I don't want to cause some kind of aggravation. And usually most of the time when I say these things, it doesn't actually cause any level of aggravation at all. It's just the internal anxiety that's causing it from within. So if you subscribe to the idea, the philosophy that who you are comes from within your own brain, then you are actually a fantastic human being. Because there's a big breadth of information and knowledge and passion for so many different things inside of each and every one of us, right? We all have so many interesting hobbies. We all have so much to say and to do, right? And we all have so much to give to the people around us. And as long as you extend that confidence to actually start giving some piece of yourself out there, then you won't get something in return. So if you go out there and you say whatever it is that's in your mind that you think might be a little bit much, you might just be able to get something back from the people around you in terms of friendship, companionship. I mean, the guy that's filming this video right now, Benja, he extended a confidence out by emailing me, right? And if he hadn't done that, he wouldn't be here right now. He's looking a bit tired, so maybe he doesn't actually, maybe he's regretting that decision. But I think realistically, he's pretty happy that he sent that email out. And you know, I'm so happy that I've said yes to things. I'm so happy that I've extended my confidence and done things that I, would have thought were just insane, that I couldn't have done before. And you can get away with so much. You can do so much. And if I can do this, if I can wear a dress through one of the busiest areas of London, you can do whatever it is that you're scared to do right now. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments below about whatever you think with this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts, particularly around confidence, and if you're too anxious to actually say stuff. Let's boost one another's confidence here. Let's get one another feeling like themselves again from the point of view of others, because if we all show love to one another, we will get love in return. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.